whether you are checking us out live on YouTube, live on Riverside, checking us out later, wherever you have chosen to join us. Welcome to You Got Some Balls, the inappropriately named sports show with me, Coach Orlando, and Professor Michelle Clement. Michelle, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Orlando. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. You and I both had to we had to take some stints on the DL,
We
both of
did.
us. We
We
had to
did.
we had some what's the ailment? Life. Life is the
Like
ailment.
life in a major way over the
I
last
mean,
week or
whew,
two, and so. But it's good to be back. It's good to
it
feel
is
like back in a groove. So I'm glad to see you,
yes.
my brother. Glad to see you.
Yes. Well, luckily, all social issues have been removed from sports, so we're all set.
So we're
So
done.
I just wanted to be here. Sexism, racism, it's all gone. So I'm gonna get us started,
Let's go. Yeah.
and this is difficult, and it's a little bit of a scary topic for me because when where I grew up, when they shooting, you go home, you run. But apparently, Napheesa Collier didn't see fit to warn us that she was coming
No.
back to
No.
air this mother
No.
out.
No. The chopper got brought out,
So
and
maybe you could
the
fill
spray
those
the
in who
spray lit
did
it up.
not. Whew.
Yeah, for those who might not have heard, around this time yesterday, Napheesa Collier, starred WNBA player, active member of their union. She's not the president, Nneka Nwubuike is, but she is nonetheless a well-regarded and respected leader within the league. As a related aside, she and Brianna Stewart started a 3-on-3 league for WNBA players first
Mm-hmm.
season was earlier this year,
Yeah.
called Unrivaled, wildly successful and popular by any measure.
Absolutely.
Provided not only salaries commensurate with the unique skills of these otherworldly women basketball players, significantly higher than the salaries provided by the WNBA to same said players, but went as far as
Mm,
to provide great benefits, like as I understand it, like daycare for those players who
yes.
have for those players who have children. So a very woman friendly environment for a sport that is played by women, by a league played by women, a women's league. So I offer that to say, Phee isn't just an otherworldly basketball player. She's an astute businesswoman, right? So
Mm-hmm.
she brings
Mm-hmm.
all that to the table for what was supposed to be, innocently enough, her exit interview. The Lynx got knocked out of the semifinals in game.
Five.
Was that game 5 versus the Mercury on Monday?
Five was Ace's fever. So yeah, I think there was
No,
four. Yep, yep.
four, four,
I think
four.
so.
Game 4 versus the
Yeah.
Mercury on. I guess that must have been Sunday or Monday. I can't recall now. The days
Yeah, it's all blended
in the
together.
last few days. So
Yeah.
it's just her exit interview, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
are usually pretty milk toast, right? Like for
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm. Not this one though. Not this
not
one
this
though.
one though. She took the opportunity to read uh, a prepared statement that spanned almost 4.5 minutes, in which she read Cathy Englebert, the commissioner of the WNBA, for filth.
Kathy,
Um,
not
um,
since not since the people heard. Psst, I see dick.
I see. Yeah,
It
yeah.
was that
It was
level of
that level
like,
of, because Phee is such an unexpected, like on one hand, such an
yes.
unexpected source,
Mm-hmm.
but then at the same time, if you know a little bit of, as you learn a little bit more about her, you understand she is
I
the
learned.
the perfect person for it. She was built for the moment that was yesterday. So basically, she calls the league out for its failure to provide what I'm going to describe as consistently well officiated games.
That's yeah. Yes, that was certainly one
That was
very
one. That was
clear
one,
thing.
but not the only.
Mm-hmm.
Um, accused, well, she said that something to the effect of, we have the best players, we have the best fans, and we have the worst leader
in the world.
in the
In the
world.
world. I was
In the
like,
world, not
dang.
in like basketball circles, but
Mm.
I'm saying in the world, like, sis, there are other
In
people that are really like super.
Yo, she looked around this
She
world and
looked
was
around and was
like,
like, the world. I said it.
the
I
world.
meant it. I said it. I said what I said, as
Dang.
Nene Leakes.
Exactly.
Like, I said what I said.
Exactly.
So she accused Cathy Englebert and the league by extension of negligence.
That's a big. I'm gonna flag these. I want you to keep
Yeah,
going. But
yeah. I'm just rolling off the
Napheesa
top of the dome. She
strikes
spilled the
me as a
tea, if you will.
she's a very intelligent woman. Yes, go. But
Yeah, no, she
negligent
spilled
is
the
a big
tea.
word. Like that's a word.
It's a huge word. And as a lawyer, I'm like, well, now listen, you have my attention. Like you
you
don't
know,
don't
you
don't
know,
ask,
I'm married to one. So when I heard the
don't
word negligent, I was like, oh.
don't tempt me with a good time. We talking negligence and torts and what now? Come on. So she went on to spill the tea about conversations she had had with Engelbert during the WNBA All-Star Weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and revealed things that Engelbert had said with regard to how the players should be thankful that she negotiated the media rights deal that they have so that they make the money they make.
Mm-hmm.
That Caitlin Clark in specifically, because Phee said that she referenced Caitlin, Angel, and I think Paige were the three players
Did she
she
name
referenced
Paige?
specific. Did she name Paige? I thought she named Paige.
Maybe. Well, yeah. That's not the point. But go ahead. Yeah. Yep.
As examples of players who have brought so many eyes to the league in the last year, but their pay is not like the rookie contracts aren't in alignment with the value these rookies by way of example, or
no
second-year
question.
players,
This is
right?
not theoretical.
Right,
This percentage
right,
increase. But
right,
yeah, go
right.
ahead.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and Kathy's response to that was like, Caitlin should be glad, like basically, as I understood it, that the WNBA gives her the platform to be able to make the money she's made outside of the WNBA.
I believe on her knees giving thanks
On her knees giving
was
thanks.
the phrase.
Was the phrase.
And again, I'm gonna flag some of these because we got some things to dig into, sis. I know Cathy wanted them words back because I was like, oh, ooh, that's just on her knee. Like it's just in a number of, whether you take it in a truly ratchet direction, whether you take it in a straight to church direction, whether you take it in a colloquial direction, you ain't to be telling nobody when they need to be on their knees.
Right,
As a rule.
right.
I was just like, ugh.
And I'm sure she wanted it back, but in the same time, I'm sure she's like, dag, I never thought she would blow my spot up like that, right? Like, not that the conversations were promised to be confidential, but I'm sure she thought like, oh, nobody will, like, I can talk slick to Phee, and like, what's she gonna do about it? Well,
what's she gonna do about it?
You saw yesterday what she did with it, but all of this is in the context of this big renegotiation of a new CBA, right?
Mm-hmm,
and I think that the current contract expires maybe later this month.
I was gonna say this season, yeah, whatever we're doing, yeah.
We're officially in October, so I think the CBA expires soon, very soon, in a matter of weeks. And so all of this is setting up for like a showdown around the contract negotiations, which at this point, I don't see how we don't, like, there's not going to be a lockout. Like this is giving. I hope folks need to enjoy these next 4 to 7 games of the finals.
Yeah, we won't be. How about I say it? Won't be seeing them no more. Won't be seeing them no more.
But yeah, it's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be a minute. Yeah, so just prepare for that. So yeah, it was a brilliantly timed bomb placement.
I mean,
metaphorically.
Well, yeah, you gotta say that these days. One thing, so, and we'll go to all the things. I'd like to go back way up to the bomb of it all, because I think that is I don't. For those who are unfamiliar, generally speaking, there are the player representatives. Things are leaked. Things are said. it gets contentious.
Right.
I have been watching sports labor disputes with in more detail than certainly when I started any child should. And I have paid like I've always found it interesting. Like, oh yeah, like I watch these games, and certainly when I was a kid, I forget that these are like corporations. Like I forget
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I'm trying to think of a time when I thought not just that it got contentious, but that someone so clearly decided to destroy another individual.
Right. Yeah. And someone who clearly, because Phee is strategic, and so
Yes.
she does this with, I have no doubt, like clearly she's coordinated with NECA, she's coordinated with Kelsey Plum, who I think is the VP.
Oh, is she? She,
Mm-hmm,
well,
mm-hmm.
you know what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel about Kelsey. I
Right,
love her.
right. So she didn't. This wasn't some rogue event. This was not some rogue event. And
No, it was not.
um,
She read it. She
she
read
read it.
it.
She read it. It was measured. She kept her voice. She was saying the wildest things while keeping her voice so level and measured.
But that's the thing. You're talking about a woman whose hair being placed in the third quarter of a WNBA game. Like she's not ever a mess. Like I
She's
can't.
very well put together in every sense, right? And so
Right.
you know, if she's stepping to the podium, whatever she says and whatever she doesn't say, she means to say or not say,
And
right? And so,
she called Cathy out by name. She quoted her. Now, so I'd love to get your take and take me where you think is most important on this because I know you were digging into it and we were having some fun too. Let's be honest. All right, because the memes were hilarious and whoever said it to ether, it needed to happen. Thank you for your
like,
service.
thank you for your service.
Because as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is
yeah,
going straight over to ether."
it's got to get an ether.
I mean, it's crazy. So, so let's start at the officiating because so one thing I will say, and I guess people complain about the NBA. I don't. Interestingly, I'm to the point in my life where I actually watch more WNBA than I watch NBA. So
Same.
I can't be sure, but I will say that I'm like, this has to stop. Every call can't be no. Come on.
Right. Bang, bang, bang is one thing, but like as an ongoing proposition, the no calls have felt particularly flagrant.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think that Mark Cuban, who kind of weighed in on it, like yesterday after Phee did her thing, talking about the officiating piece and how like the refs come out of the G League, and so if there's no investment in them being trained and learning at that level, then you're going to get the product you get from an officiating standpoint in the NBA and the WNBA.
So
Which ultimately makes this an NBA problem, right? Like,
yes, and I find it. All right, I'm going to take us somewhere else briefly, but it's related, I promise. I find it staggering that these multi-billion-dollar global organizations won't just pay officials.
Yeah, and NFL has had a referee problem for years
for
now.
years.
So this isn't particular to one league.
No, and that's what I'm saying. It's not that part as it's called out. I'm like, that has needed to be addressed for years. That's crazy. Yeah. That's insane. If you are an NFL official, that should not be your side hustle. What are we doing?
Right.
And to me, that's the sense I've gotten some of the conversation around the WNBA officials. And also, so there's that. And then Gino Auriemma said something. I'd love your reaction. But he was like, we could talk about this officiating crew or that officiating crew, but the games look how they look because that's how the WNBA wants the games to look. If they didn't want them to look like that, they wouldn't. And I have to agree with him. Because I watch the games. I don't think there's like, oh, if you get these five, your game going to be a mess. I just get a sense that there's some issues in the league generally. and either you got to address them or not. Either you got to decide this how we playing, so get your weight room game up,
Right, right.
or we're gonna go for flow and motion like David Stern did in the WNBA in the '90s, and that's what we doing. And if you don't like it,
If you don't like it, if it's not your brand of basketball, then find some other basketball to watch because it's which is
this is
odd,
what
which is interesting because the NBA is kind of in an opposite space, right? Like it is no longer bang bang. Like it's had its bang bang season in the '90s, and it's a finesse game. The post position doesn't even for
it
really
doesn't
like as we
exist.
know like and I mean we see more posting up and banging. I mean what? Well, I want to visit the AT Phee collision that resulted in Phee, because that's
Yeah,
different from, but that goes to the
that's not the
officiating
same thing.
point.
But yeah,
The bang bang point, like the ripe example is like just the back and forth between Aaliyah Boston and Aja Wilson, like that,
mm-hmm.
like
It's
I,
physical.
very physical. Aaliyah has like kind of an armbar tactic that she
Mm-hmm.
is known for, and an elbow
Mm-hmm.
thing that she's known for, and not called for consistently.
That part, and 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 let me just say this because those are two. You just mentioned two of my favorite basketball players all time. I'm not saying I think the two best basketball women's
Right.
basketball player or any basketball player really, but certainly WNBA players. You've just mentioned two of my all time favorite, and I've loved Aaliyah Boston since she was in South Carolina. Like I just
Yeah.
thought like I was laughing with a friend of mine. I've gone in my lifetime. I've gone from when I get older, I'm gonna mess with somebody like her to that is a nice young lady. I said, man, oh
That's
man, the years have truly passed. I'm
right,
like,
right,
I wish I could raise a child that lovely.
right.
Anyway, like that's a shame. I am old. But no, but really, so you know, Aaliyah Boston, I'm just love you, but she plays hella physical. Like
Very
there's
physical.
no getting around it.
Very physical.
And I don't mind watching them play like that, but I feel like there isn't a basic agreement between the players, the league, the whole thing of like this is what we doing.
Right.
And I think that's part of the problem. Because I actually that's part of what I don't like about watching watching the NBA anymore. I actually, I was a '90s Knicks fan,
So
and
you know nothing but bang bang.
I'm
Like
like,
that's
man, I thought you wanted me to hit you. What you come down here for?
right. This is the area to get hit. You in
I'm
the post.
saying you
This
drove
is
the ball
you
toward the
drove the ball
basket.
to the area where violence happens.
This, I'm not sure what the problem is, but I also understand where people are like, we would like to see baskets scored. I'm wondering, why do you think it is this has come to this point? I mean, for Napheesa Collier to raise officiating as an issue in an overall context where it has been discussed ad nauseum by pundits, I don't know that I've ever watched a WNBA game that didn't have some commentary at the end about the officiating. Like
Right.
seriously,
Right.
why was Cathy Englebert's response? Well, only the losers complain
Only the
about the
losers complain
referees.
about.
Did she
Yeah.
think she was being funny? Like I tried to go over it yesterday. I was like, was that one of those situations where like if we were in the room, she was like, and then when you read it back, it sounds way
It
worse.
sounds
Like in my
yeah.
cousin Vinny when he said I shot the clerk. And they were he's like, he said it right here. It's in the transcript. I shot the clerk. He said, no, he said, I shot the clerk. That's a very different sentence.
Right. Right.
So was that? Do you think that's it? Because I'm like, that's a
So
weird response to me.
I think it goes. I think it comes down to the reports that we're starting to hear that haven't been confirmed yet. That Kathy's not long for this commissioner role beyond
Oh well, if
right.
she
And
was
so
yesterday, she ain't today.
if she fundamentally has a hard time relating to people and being it's like I could see her being so socially awkward that it didn't occur to her like and when she said it, Phee probably just nodded, right? Didn't react, didn't give her a reaction to indicate that Phee was storing that nugget, right? Like
Yes.
Phee just let her talk. I
Yeah.
imagine in that meeting they were one on one. Phee let her cook. Like she let whatever she was inclined to say, She let her say it. She didn't react to
100%.
it in a way to give her like a
100%.
signal to stop talking
Right.
now.
I'm gonna use this.
Right.
Nothing said I'm gonna use this. It said,
Right.
oh, we just get talking.
And that's why Phee is the perfect person, because I'm not sure that Cathy would have been as comfortable. She would have been on guard with the NECA, right? Like the title and everything, right? So,
Right.
but Phee, formidable, right? But
Oh yeah. No.
but
I'm
coming
not
across
playing her
as
short.
not non-threatening, but
Yes.
so
And
yeah, I think
let's
there's a
be
comfort.
honest about some of what that's, how that plays out.
Well,
And non-threatening, I think, is an important word, and part of why yesterday's the minute I was like, Cathy about to need to spend more time with her family. That like I'm like
right. She's
just
like,
start working on your statement
yeah,
now, sister.
yeah. She's gonna need some family time soon.
Even if you ain't got a family, you get ready to go
Right.
spend some time with your family because your job is finito. Like I was like, dang.
So,
but I think it's interesting in a league. It's funny to me how these structures work because everything that got Cathy into trouble is every reason why she would assess Napheesa Collier in the way that she did and think that she could get away with talking her slick. And I think that's probably what happened. That's my guess. Is they got into a little back and forth, and some things were said, and it was like, our players should be making blah blah blah. She should be on her knees thanking God. And what made you feel like you could get down like that? Like, I wonder if you had been sitting across from, and I'm not even sure the NBA, isn't it Jaylen Brown? But anyway, whoever it is, I wonder if you had been sitting across from Jaylen Brown, if you would have flexed like that.
You would have flexed like that, yeah. And I'm sure in Fee's mind, like, at some point down the line, I will have an exit interview. Like she's just storing the nuggets as they are being shared with her. It's like, okay, all right. If things had shifted in a negotiation standpoint, I don't think Phee does what she did yesterday. I think
that's the piece I think people aren't really grasping. Because that's what I react like. Yes, she demolished her, right? Like, and it was funny, and I'm here for it, and I'm this close to doing a What Not Like Us parody. I'm this
like so
close. I'm just don't let
I know
me.
You have the storyboard already, kind of like I know you already have it. It's just not in camera view. Like, I know it's like on the wall. I know it's on the wall.
It's ready to go. But what I really reacted to was much more the Sun Tzu of this. Like, I was this wasn't done because Napheesa Collier's feelings got hurt. This was done because
some petty revenge.
She said, "Look, I'm trying to get this contract, sis, and you are really a problem. So guess
playing
what?
In our faces.
You are playing in our faces. So guess what? I'm about to remove because she removed her. She removed the commissioner from office. Like, that's what happened yesterday. It was clear to me. I was like, this woman can't be in this job anymore.
And you and Stephen A. Smith apparently hold that same opinion because he declared the same thing earlier.
Did she?
Cathy has to resign. Like, there's no more.
I
know that's not a badge of I know you're not.
I was gonna say I don't know whether to be happy or sad right now. I really don't, because sometimes Stephen move, brother. But no, I that's the way I took it. I took it as, you think you're gonna just bully us, so I'm gonna show you that I'm way more powerful than you think. That was the vibe because it was so, like, how would they have another meeting? Walk me through the next meeting.
They can't. I mean, the trust is broken.
The trust
it's irreparably broken.
But okay, all right. I dragged us away but sorry, go ahead.
No, and I want to be clear about when the trust broke. The trust broke when Cathy talked slick to her back in July, not yesterday.
That's right. And she just and I know I joked with you that she must be kin to Kendrick Lamar, because I admire people like that. I do. I'm not even kidding, and this is beyond WNBA. This is beyond whatever. The people who truly live that revenge is a dish best served cold, because I want to give it to you piping hot. I want to give it to you fresh out the oven. I don't want to. I ain't even gonna plate this John. I'm feeling ready to do my thing, right?
So Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill, you just couldn't take the long game approach.
Oh Lord, and I admire it. I really do. I'm not even playing about that part. People who really could be like, "That's cool," and they just sit
and they just work it out in their minds, and
because Asia Wilson commented on it. What other? There was like a string of players, and I was like, if anybody believes for a millisecond, they probably all had read it already.
They were ready. De'Erica, NECA, Paige.
They were like ping send.
Yeah, everybody was teed up, and Asia, when she was asked pregame, she said she had. I mean, and understandably, she hadn't had time to watch it, but by post-game presser. She had watched it and she said, and I was disgusted by what Cathy said.
But see, even that word, like I think if whoever's left in the WNBA offices, because it won't be Cathy, like Cathy, sis.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I hope you really did a number with that 401k because it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
But even Asia Wilson could have said, and it would have been a strong statement. I am really disappointed to hear that, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, disgusted is, again...
It's a choice. It's a choice, like, to use that type of verbiage.
That's big. Like, you and I have been in these spaces where people are playing these games. When you start to upgrade to these emotionally charged kinds of terms... yeah. So, okay. So that's that piece. But you mentioned something too that I want to touch on and not let too much time get away from us is this, the Caitlin Clark should be thankful that she's got this platform that allows her to go out and to make $16 million. And we talked a little about this, but I want to turn it back to you. What's your reaction when you hear from, because in an interesting way, it's a white woman in charge talking about a white woman in the labor group, but somehow Napheesa Collier telling me about it made me feel there was a racial component. So I'm like, why am I feeling that?
So I think this is chickens coming home to roost for Englebert in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be clear, these last 2 seasons, from my vantage point, and I can only speak for myself and my personal views.
Right.
The WNBA has made a choice to ground its marketing and its business plan generally, to ground it in elements attached to white supremacy, vis-a-vis.
I'm listening.
Caitlin Clark's the fan base that comes along when you talk about Caitlin Clark. I'm not saying or trying to suggest that Caitlin Clark herself is a white supremacist.
Oh no.
But what I am saying very clearly and directly is that there are elements of her support of her base whose support of her is grounded not in her skill as a basketball player, but in her whiteness and their perception of her as the best player, white or black, that they've ever seen, and them holding her up as an avatar for their white supremacy. And Cathy Englebert being, in the law we might say, a standard of reasonableness, known or should have known. So she knew or she should have known
that there's
just
a context
that white supremacy piece.
Yeah.
Was what came with the Caitlin Clark piece. I mean, yes, the Caitlin Clark piece.
Well,
and choosing to hang their hat on that, like, okay, you can rock this. You can make Caitlin the focal point if you want, and not more fully equally embrace Angel at the same time. But there are consequences to that, and I think and Phee and whoever else worked with her. It was brilliant to leverage and name Caitlin, right? Because she could have. And it's also interesting that of the 3 players, and I do think she did mention Paige. I'll have to check.
Mm-hmm. She may have.
The one player who you might have expected to have said something in support of what Phee said, not only did not comment on this, which is fascinating in and of itself,
Mm.
but the one entity that commented on her behalf was her team. Her team said Caitlyn would not be making a comment about Fee's
Now,
comments. So now you have the labor,
why
and
is that?
the team is management, right?
But
Like,
why are they telling us that
why
she
are they
is
telling
not
us
going
what
to
what Caitlyn? So Caitlyn has to decide now because she's now a pawn, right? Like
fully?
she has to decide. This is the moment where she's either going to align herself with her fellow players, or she's going to align herself with management. And I heard, to that point, I heard somebody talking about the NBA analog of this, and Aton Thomas indicated that like it took unity and coordination in whatever CBA negotiation he was a part of, and that there was one player who was the mole for the NBA and was running back, and he said it was Derek Fisher. And so Caitlyn
Really,
has to
really was
decide.
the mole, or they had him doing double agent kind of. But he said he was a mole. He was.
We need to check, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
interpreted to mean like he was running back, like
Okay.
not a double agent.
Well,
But if I'm mistaken on that, then
No,
duly
that-
noted. But my point is,
Yeah,
Caitlyn
yeah.
needs to be careful not to be perceived as too aligned, as not just not aligned with management, be it
At all.
the team, or the league, or Cathy. Like she
See-
has to like, and I don't know that she's never seemed connected enough to the efforts of sufficiently enough and on a sustained basis. Granted, she made a few comments at All Star, but she's, for somebody who's supposed to be the face of the league, she sure is quiet around this very important issue.
Well, she's
I'm
probably
sorry, go
too
ahead.
busy yelling at refs. I shouldn't be like that. But let me stop. But no, but for real, but kind of seriously. So I totally agree with you, and I think the WNBA, I get it in that if it's we live in a capitalist system, society, however you want to put it.
For sure.
I'm of the opinion that there's a way to do capitalism that doesn't require the abandonment of all morality, but apparently we decided not to try that version.
No, that's not
It's not,
the type of capitalism.
Who cares?
To the extent that you can have that in capitalism, we have rejected that.
Yeah, we let that go a while back.
Yeah, no.
But I think even that everybody was so comfortable, myself included, I'm not saying I didn't participate in any of these conversations, was so comfortable with, oh, great, we've got a black star and a white star. It'll be like Magic and Bird. Let's do that again. I'm like, that was not healthy.
Right.
That was not good behavior.
Right.
Why was I in Brooklyn rooting for the Los Angeles team to beat the... First of all, what business was it of mine anyway?
Yeah.
So we've done this. I don't think the fact that we've done it means that, like, oh, it's Holmes Cooney all over again.
Right,
This is
right,
great. It's
right.
not great.
Right.
And I think when the NBA decided, I'll at least say to allow it. They certainly allowed it. They did not do anything to discourage the dynamic that developed. I think, in a way, Cathy started to sign her own death certificate and didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, Napheesa's entire commentary, and it was over 4 minutes. And for those of you who have not needed to speak in public before, to just sit and read something like that for 4 minutes, like, I bet she rehearsed that thing. Because, I mean, it was a lot.
It was a lot.
And I thought it was, if she mentioned Paige Beckers, it doesn't take away from this point totally, but it might be a little different. But I thought it was fascinating that the one name that stood out to me, she talked about officiating, she talked about players, she talked about fans, she talked about groups of people. The one person she called out was Caitlin Clark. And I believe it was similar, but those who are watching may not know that I have fallen back in love with hip hop. Thank you to Kendrick and Drake for the weekend that changed it all for me. And one of the things during that beef, I remember listening to Not Like Us and in real time going, oh my God, he's cutting them off. Then I go to the Bay. I'm gonna talk about everything you do in Atlanta.
Right.
So
If you
now,
go
if
to Atlanta,
anybody
right.
in Atlanta mess with you, they are now co-signing your behavior because it's in the
Yeah.
open now. There's no question.
Right. Right.
You show can't come to LA,
Yeah.
right? And I was at the time, like in real time on my first listen, I was like, this is brilliant strategy. Like more than all other, it was amazing. But I was like, this is brilliant strategy. And I thought what they did was they said, you can't use Caitlyn.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That
No. No.
little,
You're right.
what they call them, the Caitlyn Klux clan, the little Caitlyn Klux clan. You can't bring them
Yeah.
because
Neutralized.
now you done insulted their basketball messiah. So if anything, we've just like negated the force of that. It's
Yeah.
not going to become, that's fine. We'll just keep the racists and their money and keep it moving. No, you will not. No,
Right.
you will not. You will deal with us
Right.
because we cut you off from all. So I don't think Caitlyn is going to say anything.
I don't think she
I,
is either.
I
I
think
don't think
she's
she
going
is.
to de facto side with management.
Mhm.
And I think it's gonna be the business equivalent of kind of how she acts on the bench with Sophie Cunningham.
Oh,
Like I think,
for sure.
you know what
She's
I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah. She's shown us where her interests are, and I have to go back to this Drake K dot analogy,
mm-hmm.
um, because you know that beef, that feud, K dot don't bother nobody. You know what? He just writes his poems and puts them to beats every now and again, and collects his Grammys, and then he goes and burrows for until he drops
Hang
dead.
out with his lady, have his kids.
Right, when you have Drake constantly like inviting him out to play, and little digs and little digs and little digs, and there's something that's probably a comparable here that happened. I mean, that's obviously happened between where Cathy is Drake and
Mm-hmm.
and the players and as represented by Phee are K dot, and it's like, okay, you keep on inviting us out for this party, and at some point we're going to attend.
And,
And
and at some point we're going to attend, and that was the vibe.
and we're
The
gonna
vibe
and we're
was,
gonna and we're gonna knuck if you buck. Like it was, we're not gonna attend and play Pat Boone. We are going to.
not Pat Boone.
I'm
So
just trying to.
when Pat Boone's like, well, somebody call
Well,
my name.
now what? Again, now why am I in it? Another Nene. But yeah, so they've been, they like, okay, so we're gonna show up at the party. If you wanted us here, and I think your point is brilliant. I do think that the Caitlyn of it all has kind of been neutralized. Like she just
I
like
thought it was super
where are
interesting.
her people to go in this, right? Like
I think they're gonna sit down, and especially because for reasons that are so deep, I'm not even sure we can get into them in this hour. But that set tends to side with the billionaires.
for sure.
So neutralizing them, I think, is a really if assuming for a moment that I'm right, which I've been wrong before. That may come as a shock to you. But I do. It felt so perfect that I'm like, that's hard to do by mistake. That like to pull off that important of a move in the midst of all this, and you didn't think really.
Right. And you know what else is brilliant about it? Circling it back to the referee point. Like, when Caitlin's active and playing, her fans are constantly crying about the no calls. Like she's just getting fouled and fouled, no calls.
Oh my god.
And the refs are a problem when Caitlin's playing, right? Well, one thing she mentioned when she was talking about the refs is that kind of what she was saying ultimately was, as incompetent as they are, there are refs getting paid more than our players. Or I don't want to. I don't want. I should, as incompetent as some of them can be.
Can be. Let's put it that way.
Not. I don't want to
Well,
put a
I
blanket.
mean,
But the point being
yeah.
that there are refs who are doing their jobs poorly
and getting paid more.
and getting paid more than
The talent.
uh,
I mean,
the
let's call it
talent.
what it is.
The
Listen,
talent.
if you give me certainly 2 months, and that's probably generous. I got my Yale intramural officiating training. I'm sure I could dust that off. But like, there's a lot more people who could wear the striped shirt than people who could wear them jerseys, and
Oh, for sure.
I don't even think there's an official who would be insulted by that. I mean, come on.
No, no.
And so part of what you're supposed to be getting paid for is the scarcity of your skill set. I mean, that's part of the deal, right? Like, sure, there are a lot of is brain surgery more important than basketball? Yeah, but there's more people who could do brain surgery that could hit a three. I mean,
right.
And but I thought the payment piece was important, but I thought what she did built into that, as you take us there, is she helped to boil this entire conversation down, at least for me. And I realize I don't think like everybody else, blah, blah, blah. But like, I was like, this is disrespectful. That's what I took from the whole 4 minutes.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's like, whatever the salary is, whatever we're going to do about the officials, whether or not there's going to be childcare, which, by the way, year one of our league, we figured out how to have childcare for people. But it's interesting that the WNBA, with all its resources, can't figure it out. But most of all, y'all gonna show us some damn respect. And I think especially in this moment, I think that's a message that's gonna resonate with a lot of folk who don't care one way or another about basketball.
Right.
I think a lot of people are gonna be like, et tu WNBA?
Right. Because if there's one thing that can kind of unify people, or a common experience, it's being undervalued at what you do.
and also not only undervalued. Well, I guess an extension of the being undervalued, to be more accurate, not negating it. I got to come back to should be on her knees.
Yeah, like
giving thanks. I said this to you, and I will say it here, and I stand by it. Although I need to be clear for those of you who haven't watched us before, when I give my controversial takes, you should hold Michelle responsible for those. That's how we do accountability around here. So anyway, as I was saying, generally speaking, these are the thoughts of Professor Michelle Clement. Email. No. But I have heard people talk about how grateful college football players should be.
Yeah.
And I have heard people talk about how grateful NBA basketball players should be. You know what I have never heard? I have never heard anybody say that PGA golfers should be grateful. Now, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So can you help me? What might be coming into play? Because to me, that's a weird thing to say to somebody. You've worked your whole life, literal blood, sweat, and tears. You're here. I could choose anybody. I chose you.
Right.
If I'm Caitlin Clark, I'm like, well, then don't give me the platform then if you feel like that about it.
Right.
Cube is literally on my other line right now. He still calls. Cube is still calling me. So if you don't want to pay, like,
there. So there to are
me,
options.
All this, like, you need to be grateful. I don't like it.
It rubs me the wrong way, and the irony is, to the point I think you've been generally making, is it is probably lost on Caitlin how offensive it is, right?
Right.
Because she
doesn't understand why. Right.
She doesn't come from a lived experience where that type of language being used as a way to suggest, like, we have decided to confer this benefit upon you. We didn't have to do it. You should be thankful.
As if I'm not the one who
as
brought
if you're not the one
talent,
filling
the labor.
Like, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really bothered me. And here I do want to be, I'm actually not joking this time about being mindful of how I frame things. Um, I'll say I noticed it, and then I'll talk about where I see it, where I feel a little more comfortable talking about it. Cathy Englebert, there's a special indignation I experience in the conversation then,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like, oh, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a woman, and when it's all girl power because we selling this league and your salary gonna be nice, then you get it. But when you gonna fall back on some good old whiteness, then you just gonna do that.
Yeah, and again, it's like white supremacy. And you won't say it. I know we've got to be careful. We've got to be. I know we're being careful.
No,
You're
no,
being
really.
careful, and
I
I'm
mean,
not. But there's some iteration of, I mean, supremacy and I mean, Kathy's the vessel, but patriarchy. Like,
yes, yes. And I thought about that earlier, and I was like, because it doesn't mean because you couldn't possibly, well, I could possibly, but to me, you wouldn't be effectively communicating what you just expressed. Because I agree by saying matriarchy, right? Like that's because
that's not. It's not applicable
patriarchy.
here.
It's like saying reverse racism or something. It just doesn't quite capture it. And again, I think it's complicated by Cathy saying it about Caitlyn, but I think Napheesa being the one to show it to us was like, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, like, yeah,
right?
yeah. No, I
Um,
agree. I agree.
and I do think all of these negotiations get impacted by that. I think there's a tone so often in these labor disputes that like I'm not going to say the full phrase because I'd like to continue to be able to be live on YouTube. But there's a famous Dave Chappelle clip where he's screaming and doing his Rick James thing. He said they should have never gave y'all ninjas money,
Right.
and that's the spirit
For
I
sure. Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
so often. Like, what is it like what's so special about the owners of these teams? You literally just sit there and collect money. You can't hit a layup. You don't know how to teach nobody to hit a layup. You don't know how to market people hitting layups. Like, you just got a lot of money. That's like that's your qualification. You got goo gobs of money. And that's the only qualification you need. And somehow you don't need to be grateful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just it's a problem. And I think this entire negotiation has had this to it. I think the players have been taught. I've been aware that this was coming for a while. I know you've been aware it's been coming for a while. When they showed up to the NBA All-Star game with them shirts,
The pay us. Yeah. Pay us what you owe us. Yeah.
listen, do it like if I had been on Kathy's team, I'd have been like this. Look, we gotta do what we gotta do, but I'm telling you this. They didn't wear them t-shirts because they ain't ready to go to the mattresses on this.
Right. Right.
They done created a whole other daggone league, which again I will say I think is better presented than the WNBA. So speaking of Nene's quote, I said what I said. I thought Unrivaled looked amazing, and they
Yeah.
talked about the fact that they wanted to present it like theater, and I was like, bravo, you
Yep.
have, and it
Yep.
is pleasurable to look at
Yeah.
amongst all the other things, and so I think this was a real miscalculation. Like, this is not the old days where people are like, "Oh, thank God, I don't have to go to Yugoslavia. I could like that's behind us." People are like, "Oh, you ain't got to go to Yugoslavia. You can still ball
Right. Right.
and make money."
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And there's other capitalists out here. I would not listen. I have my own problems with Q, but I would
Same.
keep an I would keep an, as they say, keep an eye on this space because I want to watch Aja Wilson play ball. I want to watch Kelsey Plum play ball. I don't really care about Cathy Englebert or the WNBA if they're the problem. Like, and so
Right.
if I got to go somewhere else to watch Paige Beckers, I will. I let me tell the players right now. If you think I'm going to watch the Dallas Wings because they got on Wings jerseys instead of watching Paige Beckers wherever she at, you crazy. Like,
Right.
I want to
Right.
see Paige buckets get them buckets, and
Right.
and I think they have more power than the league allowed themselves to understand. It felt a little bit like you played yourself, Kathy. You played yourself. You just totally misread this, and it's too late now. You can't fix it. That
You
little
can't fix
statement they came out with, I was like, Kathy, time with your family. I don't understand what part of time with your
time with your
family.
family is what's missing. Why don't we have that here? Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting that she did not deny.
She did not. And I always look out for that when people are like, oh, is it appropriate, this or that. But the one thing she could not say was, I didn't say that
It
about
didn't
Caitlin
happen.
Clark.
Yeah, yeah,
She
yeah.
that would have been her
She's
opportunity.
disappointed it got disclosed. She is not disappointed because something was misrepresented.
But she says it was, but I'm sorry, the attitude behind that statement, like I kind of need, well, almost took us into a real hotbed, and I'm not going to do it. But I really need, Kathy, I need you to tell me in what context, given that we're in the midst of a contested labor negotiation, give me the context where you saying that about a WNBA player was in any way respectful, appropriate, pick your word. Come on. What are we talking about?
Can I? Ooh, wait. Am I gonna say something
Go. Do it.
unthinking?
Do it. We don't we
It comes back to this comfort level she had with Napheesa in particular.
Yep. Yep.
So if it, who am I gonna offer as an example? Okay.
I love the two of us
If
like,
no. So if
oh
okay, I
Lord.
got it. So if Chanae were still playing,
Right. Yeah, I don't think so. I think she would have been more guarded. I think she would have been hella more guarded. That's what I'm saying. And
and it's not just because of who Chanae is or her personality. I do think that appearance matters in this context, and that
100%.
management feels more comfortable speaking candidly with people of color
Hmm?
who
Huh?
are of a certain color,
Oh, what's that?
and that I think was a factor in how comfortable. I mean, because she just let her hair down, you
And
know,
and,
in a
and,
way
and
that in the context of a tense labor talks
what are you
doesn't
doing?
doesn't quite make sense. So
What are
it's
you
got to be
doing?
something else because some like inherent comfort level she had specifically with Phee, right? And like you cannot not
I,
factor that in.
listen,
I can't like have this conversation without acknowledging
what
like
LL
what the
called it,
role
a
that
caramel
colorism,
coated complexion.
what color the role that colorism played in
That
this, right?
that's what
Like
our man LL Cool J called it. What do you call it? Candy coated? No, caramel coated complexion.
yeah,
You know, I'm
yeah.
not saying, and I don't say this in any way, whatever. Which, by the way, I have a whole thing I want to do about light skin and dark skin in our recent times because I think people are talking about it in some very fascinating ways that I'm like, um, y'all, we probably want to cure this before we joke about it too much. But
Right.
but no, I think you're right, and that's part of what I was saying about the in terms of and we'll go to overtime in a minute, but that's one of the things I was saying about the in terms of like how she even looks on the court.
Yeah.
Like part of me is like, do the trainers have makeup? Like, how does she look like this in the third
She's
quarter of a basketball game? Like,
she
what is
looks so
going on?
regal and well put together
Like as she is
in
playing.
game, in game,
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
in
So
game.
to be that put together, right? And I'm gonna say, I think these all play in. And again, it's certainly not anything for Napheesa to feel away about or any other player. I'm
Oh,
saying in terms of
absolutely
the
not.
comfort level we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she comes across as having some. I'm not saying she's for the trad wife, as they say, life, but I think she also has some of those. I think she has some of the markers that would make people who are comfortable in those kinds of spaces again feel comfortable. She's not showing up talking about her wife. She's not right. She doesn't have a tight, fade. colored.
Yeah, she's not mask presenting. She's
You know,
like heterosexual. All those things that could make management more comfortable. Although the league consists of
and I think
queer black women.
Let's be real.
Right?
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
But I think that makes her. That made yesterday perfection. It was strategic perfection because also she becomes very hard to dismiss.
Yeah.
You send she's the Angel up there with the nails and all that. And again, I'm not insulting the nails. I'm talking about the comfort level in these spaces. And I just think, go ahead. What you gonna say about Napheesa Collier? What you gonna say?
Yeah, what you gonna say? Like how she's unimpeachable. Like
she's unimpeachable.
So what is it? Like she doesn't have. You're not gonna point to controversy. Even the blue blood college experience coming from UConn. Right?
UConn. I mean, it's like what you gonna say?
You just she's unimpeachable, and I want to be sure to mention like. When I referenced her being made for this moment, like folks have heard over the last day and this event, since this last event, who her grandfather was. And so
say more about that because I do think that's relevant.
Well, I'd have some notes here, but you hop in as well. So her grandfather was Gershon. Of course, this is happening to me. Gershon Collier.
Right. You got it. Go ahead. Look at the notes, girl.
Woman of a certain age. So Gershon Collier.
I hear you.
Who was, among other things, he was instrumental in the establishment of Sierra Leone's independence.
Yes.
Let me make sure I get that right. He served as U.S. ambassador to several countries that I'm blanking on right now. But the point is, this man was a freedom fighter.
And I think once you sent me that, I was like, oh, Cathy girl. I wrote you back, Cathy girl, you in danger.
You in trouble. You in danger. You in danger. Like,
this is what was discussed over the dinner table. Like now you understand who you playing with.
Yeah. So not only is she the person, like she was the perfect person. Like you couldn't have scripted if you had come up with the profile for the person that should have this conversation with who would have an audience with Cathy, one.
Yes.
Where Cathy is comfortable, but then two, also be that same cat that 3 months later is going to blow the whole thing up. It is nobody else in the WNBA but Napheesa Collier.
I mean, she truly I went through it, and again, I'm not slighting any Asia Wilson, who I love. She still got that. She's got a little more. I would expect that Asia Wilson gonna go back and tell her sisters what was said in that office. Now, I'm not saying Napheesa Collier ever indicated that she wasn't gonna go back, but I think there's a reason Cathy would assume she would. At any rate, I'm very curious to see how this unfolds. I could keep going into this. I did want to ask you, well, I guess two quick things.
I want to correct something. I had it in reverse. He was Sierra Leone's ambassador to the U.S.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
That's right.
And he also represented him at the UN as well.
At the UN.
Continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when you're with someone who has, I mean, that means the very concept of freedom has been discussed in your own.
Yeah.
I think that matters.
And she has referenced her grandfather before, so it's not a secret. I mean, that's a basic Google search.
Yeah. When you sent it to me, she may have. I'm not, and I don't doubt that she has. I had not clocked that. So there was nothing about her. You know what I mean? Like Assata Shakur obviously passed away, recently. I didn't have her. Like there are names that when I hear their name, they kind of there's a little revolutionary section back here where I'm like, that's from back here. I had none of that. So when she sat down, I was like, oh, hi Napheesa. What are your thoughts on the picker? Hey, girl. And then she said,
it's not that girl. It's not that today.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Well, that's two people on this earth I ain't messing with, and that's Kendrick Lamar and Napheesa
And
Collier. So
you are a very wise man. And I know we're wrapping up this, but one thought I had was it is not lost on me that in the last 10 years, two of the most outspoken advocates for social justice, whether it be within the WNBA or outside of it, are products of the links: Maya Moore
you know,
and Phee.
did they come from the same town? Somebody said something about connected those two names
I don't know. I
yesterday,
don't know about whether if they're from the same town. I mean,
or
obviously
were
they
they
both.
referencing the links thing?
But I don't. I don't know.
At
You
any
know,
rate, but yes, I think that is
like
very. I
it's
don't
something
know,
like, and they have Gino in common. Like it's just. And
and
I'm not suggesting that Gino is like a factor in where they are as
well,
far as their social justice framework or whatever. But
here's what I would say, because I get certain vibes from Gino sometimes that I'm like, please don't say anything that makes me please. He seemed like he always about 30 seconds from
just one
saying something.
sentence away from,
Say just see Gino, we was rocking with you, and then you
and
had
then
to.
you lost us.
So,
Yeah.
but I do think in the way he talks to his players, the way his players talk about him, and I've like, it's no surprise to you, like watch stuff about him and blah blah blah. What I do think is culturally, he wants straight shooting.
For sure. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
be careful with
I
my
would agree.
language. I'm trying to use less of that language, but you know what I'm saying. Like he strikes me as the kind of person who is much more of the if you got something to say, go ahead and say it.
Direct. Like
Right.
no need
And
to
so I could see
sugarcoat.
spending 4 years with him and thinking some things that he definitely does not think, but learning some things about how and when I'm going to say my piece from him.
I'll agree with. Yeah, I agree
You
with
see what
that.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
No. No. No.
it's
No.
not,
I could see that for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm impressed by that. I would want, put it this way, if I were running a college basketball program, amongst the things I would want said about me is that my players come out of there ready to say what they have to say.
Yeah.
I would view that as quite a compliment.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree with that
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
So,
Yeah.
um, so before we go, you know, I have our overtime that we had some other topics we were gonna get into, but this I knew this feed thing was gonna get juicy because there's a lot there. We could
There's a
do
lot
another
there.
hour on it. There's a
We sure
lot.
could. We sure could.
Um, but my understanding is that Tony Soprano took over the Los Angeles Clippers, and there's some no-show union jobs to be had. So maybe you can help the people understand what I'm
Oh,
talking about
yeah.
and help me understand what is going on because I know you kept digging in after our last conversation.
Yeah, well, thank goodness for Pablo Torre and his podcast, Pablo Torre Finds Out.
Mm-hmm.
He's done 4 or 5 episodes of his show that have been a deep dive into his investigation of um, what on its face appears to be a circumvention of the salary cap by the Clippers in the form of a deal that Kawhi Leonard struck with Aspirations, a now defunct
Mm. Is that right?
uh, environmentally friendly company that sold carbon credits to Steve Ballmer for tens of millions of dollars.
Is
Uh,
that right? What an
yeah,
interesting place for him to get a
and
side gig. That's
and and
fascinating.
and over the course of these 5 episodes that he's focused in on this, Pablo has laid out meticulously the money trail, which is always the most important part, and how Ballmer or his close associates were ironically or coincidentally making payments or donating to Aspirations right around the times that Kawhi would be due money on,
You don't
well,
say.
be due money on the contract he had with Aspirations, but because they didn't really have money, like it took ironically, those donations just happened to come in time for the company to make those payments to Kawhi. And the difference between what was it? What he would have been allowed to make under the salary cap and what he is making with is making now is the difference between like the aspiration contract is the
You know what? Life is full of coincidences.
and
I think
I'm
that's
not saying it correctly, but
I think, but no, I know,
the
and
difference
I
between
put
what
you on
he
the spot,
wanted, the difference between what
and
he
what he
wanted
got.
to and what he got per the salary cap, that difference
Mm.
ironically has to be pretty much in alignment with this side deal
Now,
with
now there
aspirations.
are rules in place that would allow certain free agents to make more money to stay where they are. And I don't know if this is the way Pablo's looking at it or the way you're looking at it, but it seems to me very interesting that someone moved to a new team and mysteriously and coincidentally found another source of income that pretty perfectly replaced what the difference would have been.
Well, you know, his uncle Dennis has his negotiator, right,
And I've
for
heard
these
he's
deals,
wild.
and he's been investigated a focus of an investigation by the NBA back in 2019 when Kawhi had played the one season for the Raptors, had gotten the dub, had gotten the
Mm-hmm.
championship, and then became a free agent. And when he was vying for teams' attention, then like Uncle Dennis was going and trying to negotiate basically deals not unlike what he ultimately struck with aspirations in 2021 or 22 when his contract was up. So there was already an investigation into Uncle Dennis then.
So here's part of my question to you, because I'd heard that about I heard Uncle Dennis at one point was trying to be like part owner of the team wherever Kawhi
Yeah.
went and all kinds of wild
Or
stuff.
have Kawhi have an ownership stake, but
Right?
yes,
Like it was
he was
something
pursuing those
like,
like
yeah.
completely
It was like, yeah, no,
unrealistic. Yeah,
that's not a
yeah,
thing, bro. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
get it. Hey, listen, you
yeah.
know, sometimes you just gotta ask the question. But that's crazy. But here's my question to you, because my sense of I haven't followed this story, and obviously I'm being sarcastic about how coincidentally all this works out. But do your sense of it for real, like it don't look good is one thing, this is a problem is another level? Is it just sense that like we're talking about this is gonna this like did Pablo start pulling on a thread that's gonna unravel some things we might not have expected to see unravel?
This is a problem.
Yeah,
This is more than
it
a listen.
sounds like it. Yeah,
This is a problem, and I'm not sure it's a problem for the Clippers, but it's also a problem for the NBA because they are now conducting. I think only because Pablo kind of started unraveling so much of the yarn that it was kind
right,
of and publicizing it, right?
right.
So
Like, well, is
they
y'all
kind of
gonna do something or not? Right.
they kind of had to,
Yeah.
but I don't see how the NBA, let me take a step back and say, in a former life when I was practicing law, I was an employment and labor law attorney, and
Mm.
so workplace investigations were my thing, a
Right.
part of my
Right. Right.
bag.
Right. Right.
And so having been in that space before, if I'm investigating this on behalf of the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out how I can reach out to Pablo
Direct.
directly to understand if he can't share what he has
Right. But
beyond,
like.
well, first of all, I'm listening to all the episodes as the
Right.
investigator.
Right. Right. Right.
Like if
Right.
nothing, if I decide, okay, I'm not going to reach out to Pablo directly, but I will listen to to the episodes to give me
Mm-hmm. Right.
what I need. Like I need to follow the same trail. I need to take what, Pablo has laid out the blueprint for me, right? And the trail. All that
Yes.
investigator really needs to do, because Pablo's done the work, like,
Right.
but he needs to verify and do all that due diligence. But if you
Mm-hmm.
want a good starting point, just listen to the 5 episodes.
So and it's funny because I'm also familiar with workplace investigations because of our work. So I get that part. I guess my question is, this feels all right. I'll just say it, and then you tell me what you think of this. This feels to me like the kind of story that we're going to look back in, let's call it a year, let's call it 2 years. We're going to look back and go, do you remember the aspiration scandal? And that the scandal is going to not be just Kawhi and Ballmer and aspiration. My sense is if one is doing it, I'm not going to say all are doing it. So all is a big word. I just find it hard to believe that this one time with this one star, this one team decided to do all this shadiness. It feels to me like you gonna look under there, like
Yeah,
and it's a
it's gonna be like,
whole mess.
yeah,
This
opening
one's
up a Pandora's
contract, that
box.
one's
Yeah.
right. I mean, it just
I think it does beg. I mean, I'll say two things. I think this circumstance is unique because of the players involved, right?
right.
You have like the wealthiest uh, team owner on the planet, right? So, to our conversation earlier, detached from reality and like what
Mm-hmm.
things, how things go in the real world, and sometimes indifferent to the rules of the real world because why do I
They,
need to abide
they
by,
don't.
right?
That's for the rest of y'all.
You do have the Uncle Dennis factor, which makes this different, as like unique as well. That
Right.
having been said, like I
Right.
think those two factors are why this particular matter seems so sloppy. That having been
That's an interesting
said,
word. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that having been said, I do think it might behoove the NBA to, since they've got the hood lifted up, like these recent acquisitions of players where there was contention around demand,
Mm-hmm.
like checking under the hood to see, like, okay, did that player in that same time frame have a mysterious endorsement deal, but Kawhi is so unique too because he is not he is not LeBron. He's not Steph. I like Kawhi. I like
Oh,
his
I do
game,
too.
right?
But he
But
is
like when you think in terms of outgoing personalities, and league stars that would be on the short list of like this type of endorsement deal where you're supposed, according to the contract,
right.
you're supposed to be active on social media at a certain level. You're supposed to be present and representing the organization on a certain level. That's never been Kawhi. That's the opposite of Kawhi's personality. So this particular circumstance stinks.
And I'm
But I do think
wondering
the
if
NBA
that's
has to
part
do
of
a
what.
deeper look.
I'm sorry, but I am wondering if that is part of what may have helped Pablo start down. I haven't listened to the episode. I've gotten most of what I know is from the article that I read early
Right.
on, and then you've been filling me in like stuff you've been discovering. And it feels to me like part of what makes this all seem particularly, let's go sit on a construction site and read our newspaper, is why would you choose him? If I'm a marketing person, personally, just put all this other stuff aside for a moment, and you tell me I got Kawhi Leonard, we can use Kawhi Leonard to sell my travel mug. Okay, great. I would probably have at least some of my pitches be around the fact that he don't say nothing.
Right.
Like it might be a whole ad where he said literally doesn't speak on anything, and then he just goes, "This is nice." Like, oh, Kawhi spoke on it, right? Like
Right.
that would be the direction. So the idea, like you're putting forth, that like these people decided to reach into their pocket for money they apparently didn't really have.
And I think the marketing folks might not have even known that there was a contract with Kawhi.
Huh?
Was that the last?
Huh?
I think.
Huh? What'd you say? What'd you say? We gonna pay him how many $1 million? And the marketing people even know he had a job. What'd you say?
I don't want to. There's so much that Pablo has broken down in these episodes, but I feel like that might have been a nugget shared in the most recent episode that dropped. I think that was Monday,
Really?
just 2 days ago. Yeah. So
So yeah, I have catching up to. I want to run this by you, and then we can wrap this up for now. I want to follow up on this because it seems like it's gonna keep coming. But do you? Mark Cuban came out, and we kind of touched on this last time we talked about it, but now it's even more interesting to me. Mark Cuban's a vocal guy, so given the day, he might give us his views on Parcheesi. So I'm just like, all right, I get it. Like, I'm not going to make too much of that. But I thought his defense, you could share with folks what the defense was again. I thought his defense was an odd defense, and it made me feel, I've been part of certain boys clubs. I'm not part of the like societal boys club, but I'll admit I've been a part of certain boys clubs, and it felt to me like somebody going, who told y'all about that? Not, I just didn't buy the denial. So why don't you share the denial and then give me your sense of it?
In a nutshell, he was like, Ballmer got. Like, I have got, so I understand how that could happen. Ballmer can't, if Ballmer can't be this stupid to have been a part of this. Like, this is too sloppy and traceable, because all you had to do was pay out and give them, just sufficiently fund aspirations, and there wouldn't have been this trail of these times where they were late on paying Kawhi. So yeah, that was the gist of his defense. And ironically, Pablo has invited him back to, for them to have more conversation.
Right.
He's told Pablo he's too busy, but he's been on other podcasters' shows talking about it. So
see, I like, and listen, I don't know if Mark Cuban's ever done anything like this. I don't know what the real relationship is between Cuban and Ballmer. I'm not saying that, but that just, to me, it feels like the Coldplay CEO acted like, come on, if I was cheating with her, would I have been just out in public hugging it? Like, yeah, that's stupid, and you did it, bro. Like, what you want me to? Like,
right. And
both
I
things
think
could be true,
because Cuban is viewed by those who follow the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, as the owner who's always going to keep it real. Like, even if it's like, so the truth teller, right? So you get Cuban on to go, like, I don't know, y'all. This doesn't sound like something Steve would knowingly do. Like, so, to have him be the voice of the owners, it's very strategic and makes sense. But on this one, it didn't quite curl all the way over. Like, it didn't quite.
It didn't. But that's what, because I was like, I'm not buying it, bro. I'm just not, like, I'm not saying I know what happened, and I'm not saying, maybe Steve Ballmer's the kind of guy who's like, if y'all don't tell me what y'all doing,
I don't know.
How could I know?
How could I know? Right.
Is Kawhi happy? I could just ask you a simple question. Is Kawhi happy? Kawhi's very happy. Now, how's anybody gonna prove that means I knew something that I didn't?
He got his money. Like,
I just asked if the man was happy. They told me he was happy. I kept my day moving. But I just, there was a very there's nothing to see here vibe to Cuban coming out so quickly with that. Like, if he said to me, I've invested in that company, what are y'all talking about? Blah, blah, blah. That's different. But to just be like, oh, that's silly. Nobody would do that.
Right. And then, there's nothing to see here, but 4 more episodes later, like, Pablo is still like pulling.
And like you're saying, I'm too busy to sit down with you, who I know is looking for real answers.
Right.
But I'm not too busy for all this.
For all the other podcasters
out
there that don't have the information in front of them that you have, that haven't conducted the investigation,
or the agenda. Like, it seems to me, Pablo's like, no, I'm on my journalist thing right now.
That's
like,
exactly it. This isn't podcasting. This isn't for clicks. This is Pablo in his journalism bag.
And I think,
and it's a tight bag, man. It is. He's skilled.
I'm really looking forward to listening, but all of it. Look, I don't know what'll come of it, but my instinct is some of the biggest names in basketball might be very excited to think of what else we could be talking about right now.
Oh, for sure.
I just have a feeling that if this thing comes out, your favorite all-stars and I just have a bad feeling, because it's almost because they were so sloppy. Mm-hmm. Like, I bring up the Coldplay CEO jokingly, but in a way, I'm like, oh, they've been messing around for a long time.
For a second. They're very
because they done passed through the. Yeah, nobody know. And they done passed through the knowing glances in the meeting to being all booed up amongst their coworkers. So I'm like, oh, they've been at this for a minute. And that's what this strikes me as. Not, oh, who would be so stupid, but I don't really care about that. Just set up a damn LLC and give them $25 million.
Right.
That's what that's the vibe I get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I
anyhow,
agree. I agree.
we shall see. All right. Well, we didn't hit all the topics. We gonna hit. We got plenty of time though to
But
talk
you know,
about Bad Bunny and that and
we
the
do. But
Super
Bad
Bowl.
Bunny is kind of evergreen.
Yeah,
You
we'll
know,
be all right.
that'll still be and the other things we had on the agenda.
Yeah.
By the time we talk again, the WNBA finals will be several games into the finals by that point.
Yes,
The
we
first
we
game
can
is on Friday, and yeah.
yeah, we can dig into that some more. But if you're watching this, do watch the finals. Some names get talked about more than others, as we've talked about and we've said. The folks who think that it went straight from Dr. Naismith handed Caitlin Clark a basketball, and here we are.
Right.
In case you want to fill in a couple of the gaps in that story, Alyssa Thomas is a beast. Okay, so when you watch, she be balling, and she don't play. She will go through you if necessary. I love watching her play. And obviously, I got my A1s. You already know my feelings on Asia Wilson.
Yes.
You already
Yes.
know my feelings. So I am so excited. I was screaming up in here. Indiana Fever fans, will talk about it later, but I was rooting against y'all pretty doggone hard last night. I'm not gonna lie. I was screaming every time that day. I was like, if Odyssey don't go sit her ass down somewhere.
Odyssey was an agitator.
I was like, listen.
Like, yeah, Odyssey is serious, and it's a shame that she was on a hardship contract. Like, she should be some.
That's outrageous. She carried them, 30-something points.
Yeah.
So, speaking of who ain't making money, but yes, do watch the WNBA finals.
Sure. Yep.
And especially because, seriously, I don't know when you're going to see more WNBA.
You need to record it, DVR it, whatever the kids do, like, capture it, because you're going to be...
we gonna be pretending we never seen the game before.
Right.
Just pretending.
Woo!
What a pass!
That was brilliant. Yeah. You better, because it's gonna be a second, I think, before we.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that was You Got Some Balls. October 1st, 2025. That's the live, and we will be back next week. We will be doing our times. Maybe this time, it may be not. So look out.
We'll see.
Keep an eye on his face. We'll fill y'all in.
That's right.
But this is what we're doing, Michelle. As always, I love having these conversations. And the fact that we now have taken them online is really exciting. I could do this all day. So
I love it too. Same.
Talk soon.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye-bye.